Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about something pretty interesting. Skyblock has updated to a new version, and honestly there is some pretty cool stuff here, including some easy to get pet skins, as well as a bunch of improvements to some previous content. My name is Derailious, welcome back to Skyblock News, and let's launch right into it. Starting off, the Halloween event for Hypixel has actually begun, so if you head into the main hub, the main lobby, and you go over to this Halloween guide, you can actually pick up some new stuff. If you go over to the event shop, there's two new skins here, one for the Endermite and one for the Bat Person helmet. Both of these skins can be bought with 100 event silver, which if you've played the game at all, you probably have. These are not difficult to obtain in the slightest, and I really do recommend you pick both of them up. So here are both of the skins in action. As you can see, the Bat Person helmet skin is a little bit silly. Honestly, I think it's not my favorite if I had to really rank them, but I think it's pretty neat regardless, and I do love the Dynamite Endermite skin. I think this one is probably one of the best skins that we've received for free in big quotation marks. I really do love it. I think it's super cute, and honestly, I recommend putting it on your pets because this thing just looks awesome. Moving on to a lot of the bigger things, we're going to be going over to the Skyblock patch notes for this. There is a lot to go over. They call this a fairly minor patch, but I actually don't really agree with this. I think it changes around a lot of things, starting off with the Inferno Minion economy. They've increased the drop rates of vertexes by 2.8 times, they've increased the drop of apexes by 20%, and they've increased the drop rate of chili peppers by 15%. They've also done some other cost-slashing measures, as you can see here. Hypergolic tier fuels now take half the amount of heavy fuels. Gabagool distillates are used to be a rarer drop than other distillates, now they are more frequent, and also they've been increasing the Inferno Minion action speed by 0.92x, meaning it's about 9% faster. I think this is pretty good. Obviously, it's going to decrease the price of apexes and vertexes quite a bit, which I am frankly pretty happy about. Moving down the list, the capsaicin eye drops have been changed a little bit. Their recipe is a little bit different. They are now 1 charge each, and they are now stackable. They now include exportable carrots in their recipe, and they're also available in the bazaar under Inferno Minions. They will still exist in the game with the current ones that have charges, but they're no longer craftable, so you didn't lose anything if you had one with multiple charges. They also made some changes to the Wisp pet. They wanted to make it a little bit more used, so they added some base damage to the pet, and I think it's pretty nice now. They also upgraded the Ice Hammer ability to provide healing over time after breaking a pillar, which I think is really great, and also it is way cheaper to make now. The cost has been slashed by quite a bit. I am really happy about the changes here to the Wisp pet. Moving through our list here, the Inferno Demon Lore now has good chances of dropping some Enchanted Blaze Powder as an extra drop. The Cold Fused Reforge from the Chili Pepper collection adds strength and crit damage to the daggers, which is really nice to see. They added the very crude Gabagool item, which can be compacted using a Super Compactor 3000. The Cayenne Enchant grants 0.1 true defense per digit per enchant level. The Amalgamated Crimsonite recipe will now output 2 at a time, meaning it's halved cost, and also the Amalgamated Crimsonite can also be crafted en masse with the Enchanted Block and Cube variants of the materials, which is really nice to see. They also made Enchanted Glowstone cost 160 Enchanted Glowstone instead of 196. I think this is pretty neat, and I'm glad they made that change. It brings it in line with other items. They also lowered the island entry requirement for the Crimson Isle. They lowered it from Combat 24 to Combat 22, and all the items have had their combat requirements lowered as well. They also lowered the Zealot Bruiser hideout from 22 to 20. I think both of these are fine changes, going to be pretty nice for new players, and also they made some changes to the HP and damage of most mobs in the Crimson Isle. Combat XP has been changed because of this, so if you're gaining a little bit less, that's the reason. They also made a lot of general changes here. The Mythological Ritual event will now remember what tier of Griffin Pet you had on last when generating your burrows, which is really great to see. They also added a way to reset your burrows in case it's still an issue, or if you want easier burrows after upgrading your Griffin and realize that the mobs may be a little bit too tough. They also revamped Shen's menu. They also added sorting to the Abophone's contacts menu, which I think is really incredible. There are a bunch of other pretty small changes over here. Nothing here is too major in my opinion, and they also added a bunch of improvements and fixes to the game. Look at all these bug fixes, there's just quite a bit of stuff here. Overall, while I do somewhat feel for the people who have invested a lot of money in Inferno minions, I do also understand that they needed a change. Frankly, they were just not working properly based on the old system. They didn't drop things enough, they weren't outputting enough to be worthwhile, and most people just kind of ignored them. Hopefully we get a lot of people participating in the Inferno minion economy, and also potentially placing them down and actually using them, which means more people potentially doing Blaze Slayer, which means a whole bunch of other benefits for the economy. And honestly, it's a pretty great piece of content. I really do recommend you try out Blaze Slayer if you are capable of doing so. The other quality of life improvements are pretty great, some great stuff in there for Shen's Auction, some more great stuff for Abaphone contacts. Also, the stuff with the burrows is awesome, really great stuff admins. There's not too much else to say other than that, but it is a solid update. I recommend checking it out and logging on. So, yeah. My name is Derailious. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. And look to the future, fellas, because I will see you then.